A local politician is accused of sexual misconduct and other strange antics that are costing the taxpayers money, and that means your money.
Yeah, and tonight, for the first time, you're going to see a politician's bizarre behavior caught on tape. Here's Fox 5's John Deutzman.
Yeah, things got real strange when we tried to deal with this guy. He's City Councilman Alan Jennings. And you're about to see us outside of his house doing what's called a TV stand-up, what I'm doing right now. Jennings walks behind me with this, a heavy metal object, and he's going to throw it at us. A total of 6 on-duty New York police officers called here. Something hit me in the back. The guy hit me. I had no idea what hit me or who did it. But if you slow down the tape, you can see the Honorable New York City Councilman Alan Jennings coming around the corner with a big stick in his hand, and then he hurls a chunk of metal at me. Now, 2 weeks before this incident, we tried to talk to Jennings as he approached City Hall. Councilman Jennings, how you doing? I want to ask you a question. But before he even hears what I have to ask him, Councilman Jennings runs up the steps of City Hall, ducks inside, dashes through the crowd, and makes a beeline to a special sanctuary where he can hide. The sanctuary is a room called the Councilman's Lounge, a room you pay for, but the public and press is not allowed to go in to talk to public officials.
I'm sorry, you can't stay in here.
Now, earlier that day, we tried to talk to Jennings outside his house here in South Ozone Park, but he saw us coming down the sidewalk and ran into the backyard. I just want to talk to you about something. This was all we got to see of Jennings at his house. Keep in mind, he didn't know what we wanted to ask him. We could have had news that he was voted Councilman of the Year, but it really didn't matter because this public official did not want to be in the public eye. In fact, he called the cops on us. First, these 2 cops showed up to check us out. A few minutes later, 3 plainclothes cops show up. Do you know why you guys here? Or?
Suspicious vehicle.
All right. The second call that we got.
We were also told that there were people on his property.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a lie, but go ahead. There was another cop parked behind us in a scooter, and even though the councilman called the police, he didn't answer the door when the cops came. So not only did he waste their time, when cops show up like this, it costs the public money. You paid for it! Oh, but it's not the first time the councilman has cost the taxpayers extra money. This year, he's been the target of a City Hall sexual misconduct investigation, accused by female staffers of making inappropriate sexual comments and creating a hostile work environment. There's been an official investigation and hearings over this matter for months. We don't know whether Jennings is going to lose his job over this, but we do know that taxpayers are losing money on this deal. A special prosecutor was hired at a cost of $35 grand and another $15 grand for a special investigator. A total of $50,000. You paid for it! Oh, there's more. Jennings recently hired a photographer to take pictures of him doing his official duties. We still don't know what the pictures were for. But apparently Jennings did not pay the photographer. He stiffed the photographer. So the photographer takes Jennings to court. Since he was being sued in his official capacity as councilman, city attorneys had to handle the case. The city settled the case and paid the photographer $6,500, taxpayers' bucks. You paid for it! Now we get to what we wanted to talk to Jennings about, and it's something a lot of people don't know. He's also in hot water with the city's Campaign Finance Board. That's the agency that hands out public money to people who are running for office. Records show that Jennings owes the Campaign Finance Board more than $42,000 from his last 2 council campaigns. When are you going to pay him back? The total includes fines for not playing by the rules and public money not returned to the city. Add it all up, the tab is close to $100 grand. You paid for it! Why do you always seem to be owing people money and such high maintenance? Councilman, you know what? Why did you call the police on us today?
Stop this man.
Stop me from what? I mean, this is City Hall. What am I doing wrong? Now, behind the door, you can hear the councilman yelling about me being near his house earlier that day.
You want to talk to me, you can meet me at City Hall, but you don't have to come to my house. Never come to my house.
I'm sorry. We waited for 2 weeks for the councilman to calm down and tried to set up an interview that he promised. But he never called, so it was back to his neighborhood to do our stand-up. A total of 6 on-duty New York police officers called here. And as the Ethics Committee winds up their investigation into Jennings, here's the councilman winding up to nail me in the back with a chunk of metal. Called here. In addition to the money we talked about, taxpayers also pay Jennings' salary, which is $90,000 a year. By the way, the councilman told us to call his office to set up an interview. We did that 3 times. So far, no interview. I'm John Deutzman. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, John. Well, through a spokesperson, City Council Speaker Gifford Miller says that Mr. Jennings' attack on John is another example of the councilman's erratic and unprofessional behavior.
Now, the Ethics Committee is supposed to have a decision about Jennings' future within the next few weeks.
Well, good thing the councilman doesn't have good aim, because he could have gotten John in the head.
Well, and that piece of metal was a heavy piece of metal.
I know,
It
I
really
saw
was,
it.
yeah.
All right.